and welcome back to Newman Lumen this morning. My name is Allison Pelkes, and I serve as the Multi-Faith Coordinator for the Truett Center for Religious and Spiritual Life at Elon. It is my job to put together this lovely Newman Lumen series, and this year our theme is Bridging to Hope. We've already heard from a couple of speakers, and this morning I have the pleasure of introducing one of the first people I met at Elon when I came to visit for my interview. S.J. McDonald is a rising senior with majors in religious studies and international global studies, with her concentration on Africa. She is a multi-faith scholar and a leadership fellow who has been involved with the Truett Center, Students for Peace and Social Justice, and Lutherans, Episcopalians, and Friends. When I met S.J., I knew instantly that she was wise beyond her years and that she cared deeply for communities that were close to her and also far from her. S.J. is interested in exploring career opportunities relating to migration or international development, and I believe that she will find those roles wherever they lead her next. But without further ado, here's S.J.
Good morning. Thank you to the Truett Center and Allison for asking me to speak today. Since my first days at Elon, the Truett Center has been a source of joy and community for me, and it feels fitting for me to speak about that today as I reflect on my 4 years here. This year's theme is Bridging to Hope. I'm struck by the action of the phrase, bridging. We as people are constantly becoming, constantly linking with ourselves and others. Bridging, because it's not about the destination, right? It's about the journey. How you get there, the choices you make, the bridges you take. So I'm going to take a moment to talk about how I have been bridging my way to hope, how I found my way through the hills to the space I occupy now. Something many people don't know about me is that I wasn't sure if I would be able to go to college until my last semester of high school. You see, I'm an incredibly empathetic person, and that manifests through worrying. My mom might call it just being aware about the world, but I'd say it's because I care so deeply about the world and everything in it. That in and of itself is not an issue. Many people have high empathy levels and find ways to regulate their emotions and live comfortably. However, you combine that proclivity with the anxiety of a middle schooler, and you get a kid with migraines, chronic, debilitating, and mind-searing migraines. I didn't know how to access my hope. I felt the weight of the world and internalized it instead of sharing it with my community. It took years of therapy and patience and grit to finally, my second semester senior year of high school, attend school at a regular enough rate with few migraines to semi-confidently go to college. I have grown so much since then. Coming to Elon, I wasn't sure how I would handle things. Was I cut out for college? My bridge to Elon has been a little rockier than some. Once I got here, though, I found my voice. Growing up, going to the same school with the same people in the same city, I felt my growth hindered. I think I fell into the trap of performing the same person I was in middle school when I got into high school, and just didn't feel the room I so desperately needed to reinvent myself. I stayed quiet, I stayed studious, and I coped with my migraines. At Elon, no one knew who I was. No one knew me for my illness, and I felt free. So I opened up and joined organizations who gave me the platform to speak my mind. Speaking out about the injustices of the world is crucial to my story at Elon, because Elon is where I learned how to use my voice to advocate for and with others. It's not an easy thing, putting your heart out there and asking people to join you on the journey. My sophomore year, I went with the Leadership Fellows cohort on a civil rights journey focused on disarming injustices. On this journey, we met all sorts of people, leaders, from grassroots leaders in Selma who participated in marches to Equal Justice Initiative lawyers actively working towards a more equitable legal system. These people modeled to me and to everyone on our trip how important it is to show up and to use your voice, even in the face of fear and adversity. One of these people is very dear to myself and my family. Growing up, my mom and her siblings had a nanny named Nettie who cared for them while her parents were at work. Nettie is part of the family. She has been there for births and deaths and everything in between. Nettie also believes in justice. She lives in Selma, Alabama, and has called it home for years. During the movement, she went to mass meetings and spoke her mind. She drove friends to work during the bus boycott and marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in the March to Montgomery. One of the most striking things about Nettie is her kindness towards all and her hope for a better future for her community. Nettie's bridge is wide, with enough room for many to join her on the journey to hope. This past year, I had finally witnessed enough bridges to forge my own. I had confidence in myself as a leader and my ability to use my voice. I joined Elon's Multi-Faith Scholars Program and began a research project of my choosing. This led me to journey outside my comfort zone into a chapel in Greensboro where the people did not speak my language. I spent a year going to church with refugees and stumbling my way through Swahili. To experience my faith through a different cultural lens was absolutely stunning. There is something so powerful about worshiping together through language barriers and creating a welcoming atmosphere for all. One of my friends, who I'll call Gloria, always inspired me with her exuberance and warm smile. Each week, she would bring her whole self to that service, creating an atmosphere of devotion and joy. When I interviewed her for my research project, I was shocked to hear of the difficult and tumultuous journey she had embarked on to get to the United States. Through war, torture, and death, Gloria found hope in her community and in her Creator. Her story of bridging hope through her faith was inspiring. She had seen the worst of humanity and yet daily found joy in humanity through God. I felt absolutely honored to hear her story and even more honored that she trusted me with it to advocate for her community. I further forged my bridge by taking a leap of faith and studying abroad in Iringa, Tanzania for a semester, my biggest leap yet. Tanzania for me represented a culmination of a year of work, learning Swahili, attending Swahili church, and preparing myself to be on my own. It was the experience of a lifetime. While I was there, I learned so much each and every day. Most importantly, I learned to slow down and to take in my surroundings, reflecting each day on myself, my positionality, and my role in society. I took time to explore, visiting street vendors selling chai and mandazi, and finding a rock to sit upon and gaze out at village life around me. I spent 2.5 blissful months in Tanzania learning about myself, the country, and everything in between. And then, just as suddenly as I arrived, I was sent home at the end of March to an America already in lockdown due to the coronavirus, a virus which hadn't even hit Tanzania yet. It was quite frankly soul-crushing. I had spent so much time building up my time in Tanzania to be one of self-development, growth, and creation of newness. To lose that alongside an opportunity to explore the country alone and do research was a disruption. We all felt it. We all have plans that have been altered beyond belief. And I can't speak for you, but I know I have had difficulty accessing my hope as of late. It's been tough. And when Allison first mentioned this year's theme, I thought to myself, there's no way I can speak gracefully about hope in a time where I struggle daily to find it within myself. But then I remembered that I don't have to find it within myself. I find hope in my community and in those I love. in the friend who bought me coffee to make me smile, and in the professor who gave us a moment of rest before finishing class. In Jan Register's smile, and in the gaggle of freshmen eagerly looking for colonnades. Because none of us are going through this alone. We have each other to lean on and to build hope together. Alone, a bridge feels insurmountable, but together, we can just maybe climb it. I found, while bridging hope, that exposing yourself to stories of hope and resiliency inspires you to build it in yourself. And I hope today you'll take a moment to reflect upon those in your life who have helped you to build and maintain and repair your own bridge. I hope you'll thank them and remind them that we are all in this together. The summer before high school, I went to South Africa with my home church and learned about a concept known as Ubuntu. I fell in love with it. The idea that our humanity is bound together and that we need each other to be. I hope you'll remember our shared humanity as we navigate this difficult space together. And I hope you'll help in the construction of bridges around you. As we all look down to unknown waters, we can count on each other to reach the other side, to reach hope together.